Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Jeremy Scott Fitness Podcast Radio Show, coming to you on this Wednesday, May the 22nd, 2024. Hopefully, it finds you staying safe and staying sweaty all at the same time. On today's episode, we are doing a quick one, just talking about sled training, basically sled training 101, and the benefits of sled training, what you get out of it. Some of the protocols that I use, what I've found to be the most effective and the most useful, and what I would suggest for you guys as well out there. If you have access to a sled at your house, at your local gym, full disclaimer, we do have a deal with Torque Fitness for all of their outdoor sleds. You guys have probably seen on our Instagram, we have the Mini M1, which is just almost like a tricycle, little two wheels in the back, one wheel in the front, and then we have the big dog, the MX4, and that thing is just a complete tank. You probably see BJ Gadura and myself using it quite a bit. If you guys follow BJ, he's been posting a lot about it on there. I got him hooked up with it as well. So if you guys want access to those things at a discount, hit me up. I'm happy to share it. But that's kind of what we're going to break down today on the episode. Just the sled just is a huge bang for your buck activity, and it's one of the best pieces of equipment you can use. As simplistic as it is, it's just, and I'll get fancier here on the episode, but it's dead weight, and you're just moving weight through space. That's why I'm a huge fan of rucking, farmers carries, and the sled pushes and pulls, and all the different things you can do with them. Just because it's you're just moving weight around, and that's it. So that is the episode today. Quick housekeeping things before I forget. One, the Rebuilt program is live and rocking inside of the Jeremy Scott Fitness app. If you guys want to check it out, this is a program where we're trying to rebuild you from head to toe, top down, bottom up, and everything in between. Get you as mobile and as fit and as athletic as you've ever been. Maybe, if you were a freak at 24 and you're 47, I probably can't get you back to that exact, prime, but we can get you as mobile and as fit as possible with the current tools that you have in your tool bag. And we're trying to unlock a lot of things, get you guys out of pain, help you build a longevity practice you can have, not just for the next, 6 weeks, but hopefully the next 6 years, 16 years, 60 years, however lucky you are to be on the planet. So if you guys want to check it out, it's going to be in the show notes here. It's our Rebuilt Beyond Athletic program. It's a premium option inside the app. I put a lot of time into it. There's full follow-along mobility flows. A lot of the workouts different than what you're used to, but just trying to challenge the body in all 360 degrees, literally every way we think about it. So if you guys want to check it out, links in the show notes. You can always get a week for free of just the app itself. There's already, I think, 1,000 plus videos, 15 different programs in there. But this is something different inside of it. So Rebuilt Beyond Athletic is live inside the app now. And then two other things real quick. One, my homies at JLab Pro, where I get my protein, turmeric, collagen, and krill oils. They're having a sale right now. If you use the code MD27, you get 27% off everything on the website. So if you're looking for a new protein, turmeric, collagen, krill oils, they got a lot of stuff on the site. Those are just things that we use at our house daily or weekly. You can check it out. I'll put the link in the show notes to that as well. So if you guys want to save 27% off everything on the site, which is a pretty significant discount, you can do that right now. I believe it's through like Memorial Day. So depending when you listen to this, it might even be live a couple days after Memorial Day. But if you're interested, click it. MD27 will be the discount to hook you guys up with that. And you already know, the one thing I take every single day and I never miss, shout out to AG1. Right off the bat, if you guys do want a free sample, if you've heard people talk about AG1, you've seen it, you're looking for something to replace your multivitamin, you want a foundational nutritional supplement, I'm happy to send you a free sample pack right to your front door. Message us if you're listening to this and you've never done it, and you're like, yeah, Jeremy, I've heard you say it 500 times. I think this is episode 592 or something. I'm happy to send you a free sample. I want you to try it before you buy it. If you like it, then we'll hook you up with all the free stuff from there. We'll get you 5 free travel packs and a year supply of vitamin D3, K2 with your first order. So the reason I take it is, one, it's fast, it's quick, it's easy, it's efficient, but it also is the best tasting, in my opinion, and it's an easy way for me to not have to take 15 different pills. So I get prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes in there, my B vitamins, adaptogens, vitamin C, you name it. So if you guys want to check it out, drinkag1.com/Jeremy Scott gets you hooked up with all the free stuff today. And if you want a free sample, just reach out and ask. I'm happy to send it. But if you're going to be traveling this summer and you don't want to take 80 different pills and potions with you, this is just a simple way to put a couple sample packs, or I call them sample packs, travel packs, just in your backpack or your suitcase. Throw it in some water, shake it. Takes all of 15 seconds and you're on with your day. So hit us up if you want to try some. And then you guys know, those of you who are familiar, Dave DiLorenzo and myself have been running this mastermind group, our Built Different Mastermind, since January. If you guys are interested in leveling up your business, solopreneur, entrepreneur, leaving corporate America, climbing the corporate ladder, making more money, more importantly, building an ideal life around work and money, and try to find that perfect balance for you, whatever that looks like, that is the goal of our group, and that's what we're doing, surrounding you by putting you with other like-minded people who are motivated, who want to be successful in their career, but more importantly, in their life. So links in the show notes, jeremyscottfitness.com/built-different-mastermind. That is cooking right now. Always a mouthful. So I'm going to try to keep this quick and brief today and not take all of your time. I am tired today, and I still have to go into work, and I have to work late tonight because I got some people taking vacations, which I'm not super jacked about. T-Wolves are on tonight, so I'll watch a little bit of it there and try to catch the rest of the game at home. Crazy the T-Wolves beat the Nuggets. I did a podcast with BJ Gaddour talking about it, and he was just asking me my picks and thoughts, and I didn't think they beat the Nuggets, man. I really didn't. I'm from Minnesota. I root for them anytime I can. It's been hard because they haven't been this far in the playoffs in 20 years. I was in, college the last time they were in the playoffs this deep, which is depressing how old I am. But super awesome to watch. Ant and the crew are, the kid is special, man. At 22 years old, Anthony Edwards, to do the things he's doing is pretty sweet. So that is going on tonight. Other than that, I just got old school playing in the background here. I got my 14-year-old dog sleeping next to me. Took them both on walks today. My sister was in town. She lives in Jacksonville. Haven't seen her in years, which was nice. Always too quick, and just trying to make a point of that moving forward, to see friends and family more often, and not get caught up in the bullshit. Because at the end of the day, we're all getting older, and what the hell is this really about if we can't have, fun with the people that we love and appreciate? A lot of us, we spend too much time doing, quote unquote, the other things. And obviously it's an economical world. You got to make money, you got to do certain things. But I think we sometimes, and I've been guilty of this many times in life, spending a disproportionate amount of time doing the other things and not enough of the things that truly matter. And it's a tough line to draw, and I don't know, I don't have a perfect answer for it, obviously, but I do know as I get older, I value those things so much more, because years ago, maybe 10 years ago, and clearly before that, if I would have been like, oh, okay, good to see you guys, and then that's it. And now when I do that, I'm like, when's the next time I'm going to see you guys? How many more times are you going to see people? And I say that to say this, just when you start to think about it, not in terms of years of life, but just times you're going to get to see people. Like if you don't live near your parents, I'm lucky enough, my mom moved here during the pandemic, but for a long time we'd see them, once or twice a year. And my dad to see, at this point, pretty much like once a year. And you stop thinking about years, you're like, well, how many more times am I going to get to see them in my life? And that's where it kind of becomes sobering and eye-opening of like, oh, okay, I got to get my shit together. I got to get my priorities straight because these things do matter. And I wouldn't, it again, you never know what happens with anything in life, but when you look at it like, oh, I only got to see so and so four more times in my life, or if you're lucky enough to have grandparents, mine are all dead, but if you have them and you don't live in their city, you probably see them maybe once a year, maybe twice if you're lucky, and if they're 92, you know, God willing, you get to see them 10 more times, 20 more times in your entire life, and so just food for thought as you head through your week this week, as you get into your sled training, if you will. Reps Fitness put out a great piece actually on this, 18 reasons to use a sled in your workout. I think Amy Heckel was the original of it. But I'm just going to talk through real quick what we do, what I've seen, and why I would use it and make it part of your training program if it's not currently. I don't build it into all of the weekly stuff that I put in the app just because I know so many people don't have access to it. But I do use a sled a ton. Next to, rucking, farmer's carries, and sled push, pulls, drags, and different variations. That's probably what I do the most of anything. Next to walking, I guess, would be there. And then you go down the line of like lunges and push-ups and pull-ups and those things. But a sled is definitely a huge piece of what I do. It's a super versatile piece of equipment. I think it's massively underrated, and you love it and hate it at the same time, obviously, no matter what your goals are. And sleds, and there's actually a tagline in this article, sleds aren't just for dogs in Alaska, which is actually kind of funny. But the sled in your gym, some of you guys, depending on what you have, you might have a Prowler. We have the Rogue sleds, so the heavier ones actually weigh 96 pounds a piece before you even put a single ounce of weight on them. So they are substantial by themselves. I think the Prowler sled's probably somewhere closer to 15, 20 pounds. But for most people, I think it's just an underrated tool that people don't use. They don't use it enough. I guess that's the way I'm going to say it. There's really no wrong way to do it as long as you're feeling good with it. But there's so many different types of sleds. Like I mentioned, if you guys want to check out the Torque sleds, I'm happy to get you a discount. But they have the push sleds. They have the ones with the vertical posts. They have the pull sleds with the ropes, the harnesses, the belts, the feet facing forward, facing backwards, high attachments, low attachments. The Torque ones we have do have the full ropes on them. They actually have wheelbarrow attachments too, which is almost like you can do these modified farmer's carry variations, front to back, chariot kind of racing variations as well. You can deadlift with them. You can do essentially clean and press with them. You can do unilateral arm pushing and pulling, which we'll talk about too as well. But not to get lost in all of the details, there's just so many things you can do with them. So that's one, and I share a lot of that in the app. I share it obviously on Instagram, and if you guys are on YouTube, which if not, we have over 2,000 videos on our YouTube. It's free. It's just Jeremy Scott Fitness on YouTube. Subscribe, click like, and you guys get access to all the stuff. And so what can a sled do for you? Obviously, you all know what a sled is. It's not a complex piece of equipment, especially if you have a very basic one. But if you're a young athlete to a middle-aged adult to a super old adult, a sled can be for you. My dad's been to my facility one time. He's been out to Arizona here once, and he came to the gym and just wanted to push the sled. Like, we didn't make him do it. I don't make him do anything. I don't ask anything. But even for him, it's like, he's a dude in his 60s, not super big guy. He probably weighs 150 pounds. Just moving the sled through space. Now, this is a guy who has back issues, knee issues, arthritis, you name it, and can just push a 100-pound sled through space. Super beneficial to anybody is the point of me saying that. Like, anyone can use it, and that's one of the reasons I love it. Two, it can improve your speed. So if you young athletes out there, it's a great piece of equipment. You don't have to load weight onto the sled to get a great workout. You can push it unloaded. Like light loads can go a long way. You can go super fast. You can sprint with them, which is great. And there is research that shows that sleds with heavy loads may yield the greatest improvement in short distance sprints. So you can sprint with them light, and you can push them heavy as hell. And both of those things can benefit you in terms of your overall speed. Number two, Obviously, they can build strength. You guys know that. You load a sled up with heavy weights, it can be taxing to your muscles. That kind of slow and steady wins the race type deal. I like it because it's easy on the joints. So if you're not feeling it someday, maybe you have some hip issues, ankle issue, or knee issue that's bugging you doing a different variation of an exercise. A lot of times the sled doesn't do that for me. It just becomes an easy thing to get into and jump into. Um, the next thing, endurance wise, I think it's a great piece for that. I don't love to do just like boring, and again, obviously for a lot of people, pushing a sled is boring, but just dead ass slow endurance training like jogging or running for long distances is just not my thing. Or even just rowing forever or skiing forever. It gets boring and I don't enjoy it the way that I do pushing a sled. So, in terms of endurance training, you can obviously reduce the weight and the speed at which you're going and just push and pull a sled at a slow to medium pace for long distances if you're looking to level up your endurance. So, one of the protocols I do a lot, if it's inside um, the gym with the Rogue sleds, I'll just set the clock for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and just push it the entire time. Or I'll do push 25 yards, pull 25 yards, or I'll do a kind of plate loading variation where I go sled unloaded, then 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, and then pyramid back up and down. So essentially you're doing 8 rounds. You do one with just a sled, one with just a plate, then 2 plates, and then once you get to the pinnacle at 4 plates, you sort of take the plates back off and keep pushing it down. So I do like to do that for endurance training. The torque sleds are great just for the simple fact of you can take them outside so you can get some sun for one. And it's just where we're at, we have about a 300-yard back alley of our facility where you can just push it 150 yards at a crack. You can pull it, you can push it, you can drag it, you can do all the variations, but it's just brainless, easy endurance work. And it's also a great warm up, too, if you guys are looking to do obviously backwards sled walks and just the forward kind of push pulls with that. Kind of the same concept of knees over toes, the most basic form of it, if you will. Number 4, you can get a full body workout with the sled. You most definitely can if you have the right sled and you use it the right way. When you do it correctly, sleds can challenge the upper body and the lower body. We're talking about legs, your calves, obviously your abs, your core, your chest, your tris, shoulders, glutes, hip flexors as well. You can get a full body workout with a sled. We've shown these workout variations many times online, and if the load's heavy enough, especially if you're loading it, putting plates on, taking plates off, we hook a TRX to it a lot of times. We'll do like a squat to high pull variation with the sleds. I love those too. Those are all great things you can do, and I think again, it's an awesome rowing variation. It's an awesome kind of squat, hip hinge, deadlift variation as well for you guys. All great things to do to work your entire body with just essentially one or two simple tools, or a sled with the basic rope or TRX attachment. You can get that done. Obviously, the next one, it burns calories. As dumb as that sounds, it's just an easy way to get up and down the turf a couple of times at the end of your workout to kind of torch some calories. If you're concerned about calorie intake and you want to be at a deficit, super simple to do. It's a low-hanging fruit. Again, like I said, easy on the joints, easy to pop into and pop out of. It doesn't require a whole lot of skill for most people. And it's a nice way to kind of create a calorie deficit if that is one of your goals. Which brings me to the next one. You can adapt it to basically all fitness levels, like I talked about. It doesn't matter if you're young, you're old, you're new, you're experienced, you're training for sport, you're recovering from an injury. It can be adapted to pretty much anybody at any level. It's easy to adjust, add weight, take off weight, the speed, the tempo that you push it. And just because you're not under load, if you're somebody who pushes a sled and it's light, you can still make progress. Like when you hit failure, you're still going to make progress doing that or close to failure. You don't have to worry about, the safety like you would like a barbell back squat or a barbell bench press, for example. Again, it's a simple thing to pop in and out of, and you can add difficulty by adjusting arm positions, starting with the arms near your body, with the elbows bent, having the arms completely straight. if you want to, which is the variation I do the most until it gets insanely heavy. Because I do like to hit the shoulders and the upper body and the trunk a little bit by having the arms extended for me personally. But we do all the variations. It just keeps things fun and fresh and funky. And sometimes you just get in there and you do discovery and you play and you just try to kind of figure things out as you go. The next one, which is right next to the burns calories, obviously it's a good fat loss tool. It's a great interval training piece of equipment, anaerobic training as well. It's an effective component of obviously losing fat and getting leaner and stronger. And the next one, you can train unilaterally, one leg at a time, or if you want to do like the hand kind of pushing, one arm at a time, depending on what type of sled you have. And I'm a huge fan of unilateral training in general. You can create, if you're always training, like if you're always, I guess you'll put it this way, if you're always back squatting, if you're always bench pressing, if you're always double arm overhead pressing, you can create muscular imbalances. You're going to have a stronger leg or stronger arm or some body part that's going to take over. It's going to happen anyways. But when you're training unilaterally, you can create more muscle balance and you can help prevent some overuse and some overtraining with your stronger side, your dominant hand or your dominant leg. And I do think fixing strength imbalances is important for multiple things, but probably the biggest one is just to reduce the opportunity for injury to happen. So that's why I'm a huge fan of it. And if you look at like how you walk and how you run, obviously it's, we're unilaterally moving. We don't bunny hop most places. So I do think it mimics real life, and it's very applicable to sport for a lot of things, at least to build some strength and endurance for sport. It also does allow you to recover quickly, in my opinion. One of the biggest bonuses of using a sled is it's mostly concentric with minimal eccentric action. So the lowering part of lifting, if you will. And the eccentric part of the exercise creates the most soreness and fatigue for most people. And if you take that away, you're less likely to get as beat down from a sled. At least that's been my experience. And it's great if you don't want to be so sore you can't move. And if you're somebody who does things in terms of athletic performance, even if you're not an athlete anymore, but you're somebody who plays pickleball or goes hiking, you can still do all of your training throughout the rest of the week when you're doing your sled training as well. So you can hit the lower body and not be so crippled where you have to, basically you can't sit on the toilet because your ass is so sore from training. The sled really doesn't do that for me, unless it's been an insanely long period of time and I do some insane type of sled workout. It's just something that you can do consistently and keep feeling good and keep making progress. Which brings me to the next one, which you touched on, just the upper body portion of it. When you guys hook up ropes to your sled, you can do all the variations like I talked about, like a squat to high pull. You can do face pull variations. You can sit on the ground. You can roll your sled towards you. You can rope pull it towards you. You can do the hand over hand kind of rope pull I'm talking about to work the upper back, the buys, your core, your forearms, your grip. And like barbell exercises for the upper body, the sled is in front of your body and it's not loaded overhead. So you don't have any kind of spinal compression. And the sled doesn't weigh you down personally. So great tool for that. You can also train lateral speed. You don't have to just run forward and backward. You can also pull your sled sideways to target the adductors and improve lateral speed. You can boost your starting speed, definitely. Obviously, most of you probably know this because the sled provides that instant resistance as soon as you start to move it, which is great for the kind of, quick fire, if you can hear me snapping. That start speed training, huge fan of it. It can improve knee health, which I mentioned a little bit earlier. Obviously, any of the knees over toe stuff, all that ATG stuff, the programs that program specifically just uses backward sled drags to strengthen the knees and improve the knee health to get the blood flow there. The backward drag targets the vastus medialis, the oblique muscle of the knee, if you will, which helps stabilize the joint, I believe is the science that they use behind it. I have not read any of the studies. I've done some of the kind of the zero stuff that they've done and looked at it. It really is it's like PT almost, when you have people walking backwards, the most basic kind of form of getting your knee over your toe when you are obviously just hooking it when you're whether you're hand dragging it or you have a band around the waist when you're walking backwards, it's an easy way to get the knees warmed up and loose and kind of ready to work. So awesome for knee health as well, which I know is important for a lot of people, especially if you've had any injuries in life where you're a little bit older, like myself, and you find, it's the morning, it's early, and you're getting clothes out of the dryer because that's how you roll. And you squat down, and you're like, man, my knees are, the word I use is tight. Like, oh, my knees feel real tight. They feel real stiff. They feel real sore. Doing some, obviously, mobility, some tissue work, but just some backwards walking and backwards sled drags can help get you loose and primed and ready for movement, but also, more importantly, keep the knees healthy, which is important to keep your joints healthy, especially as we age, you guys. It's just, Father Time is undefeated in everything, and it's really trying to catch us each and every day, and so we have to kind of fight against that harder and harder every day that goes on. Which brings me to the next one. Rehab after injury or a tweak, or you got something going on, more than likely you'll still be able to use a sled in some variation. They're low impact. They're way, way low risk compared to so many other exercises in the gym you could do for your lower body. An easy way to return to something and ease into training after an injury or after some time off. Again, if you're somebody who has low back pain, like we mentioned before, the sled has no spinal compression or minimal if you're doing anything. So it's not hard on the lumbar spine. Trust me, I've had disc issues, L3, L4, L4, L5, L5S1, and was able to use the sled the entire time, pain-free. Now, I'm not saying that of you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do. But it worked for me and allowed me to train lower body when I couldn't do a lot of other things that I normally had done for the last, 30 some years before that. And on top of that, sleds are great for your calves, great for your feet, great for your ankles. Easy thing to do to kill multiple birds with one stone. If you're a person who's not going to spend, 20 sets a week or 2 hours a week, just, or whatever the time is on direct calf work because you're a busy adult with a job and, a career and maybe you travel or you have kids or you have animals and there's other things you want to do. A sled can do a lot of those other body parts that you might not be directly training all the time. So again, big bang for your buck when it comes to time in the gym and the benefits you get out of that. And like I said earlier, you can train indoors, you can train outdoors. Sleds are great in the grass. They're great, depending on which ones you have. They're great on grass. They're great on concrete. They're great on turf. They're great on carpet as well. You can use them year round, depending where you live. It keeps the workout fun. It keeps it entertaining. And it's an easy thing to throw into your training too. So if you don't just want to push a sled for the next 30 minutes, push the sled for a minute. Do farmer's carries for a minute. Do 15 push-ups the next minute. Do 5 pull-ups the next minute. And maybe do 10 squats the minute after that. There's your, 30-minute, every minute on the minute workout just set out for you there. And a sled just it could become the focal point of it and the huge part of it. But if you get bored with things, you can sprinkle other stuff in. Bang, bang. Hits your core as well. We talked about briefly, but pushing a sled in a straight line demands stability of your midsection. It can be a core exercise that's functional. You're not just laying on the floor. If you have one of the torque sleds, you can do like the single arm pushes. So now we're unilaterally kind of training the trunk, the obliques, intercostals, as BJ could do, or, that puncher's muscle, if you will, as you're almost kind of punching the sled forward. That is super beneficial to the trunk. I like it for so many reasons, you guys. I could go on here for the next hour and talk about all the benefits of it, but it does allow you to stay in the game, regardless of most things going on in your life in terms of your physical body, of what you can and can't do, depending on how you feel. The sled exercises, most of them that you're going to do, are easily translated into other day-to-day activities. Like if you got to move a couch, if you're pushing a heavy shopping cart, if you're pushing a stroller through grass, if you are an athlete. Like, these are basic things that you're going to do. Moving weight through space is what we do great as humans. We are not super fast compared to a cheetah or a lion. We're slow as hell. We can go insanely long distances carrying things and pushing weight. We can't go fast, but we can go for a long time. And I think, again, like I mentioned earlier, the dogs and the sled, I think the only animal that can go further than us, like for long periods of times, are the Iditarod like dogs. I think everything else, like we would be able to go longer carrying load. That is, those dogs are better than us at it, but I think we beat everybody else at just pushing stuff through space for long periods of time because we can go for so long. We're just slow compared to them. So I do think the sled is very translatable to your day-to-day activities and your day-to-day lives, and it makes you better at everything else, honestly. And I think, again, if you guys don't know, you're always going to be stronger pulling than you are pushing. Just been my experience. You might be different, but you'll be stronger on the pulling than the pushing, and that pretty much goes hand for hand with all the other training that you do in your life. And the last thing, it can train your brain. It can give you a little confidence boost. Loading up a heavy ass sled makes you feel good. Moving a lot of weight. If you got other stuff going on, or maybe you got an injury, or you have been able to move a lot of weight, you're a little bit older, and you're just not, trying to risk injury, and you're not, moving the pounds like you used to. It's a nice confidence boost. It's a challenge to you physically. It can challenge your mental, tenacity with the sled. It's easy to do, yet it's hard as hell to do at the same time. So the mind games of it, right? It looks so basic on paper when you see it, and everybody who's pushed a sled knows that thing can beat your ass. But when people on the outside see it, especially if they come into our facility in space and they've never used them before, it's been a long time, and we have them just push the sled by itself. They do a couple trips up and down the turf, and they feel basically nauseous because it overwhelmed them and it consumed them. So that's where the mind game comes in. It looks so simple, it looks so basic, yet the thing can just bury you in so many different ways. So yeah, you guys, that's essentially sled training 101, or what are we even calling this? Sled training benefits. That makes more sense. Again, if you guys want more details on the Torque sleds and some of the other sleds and stuff that we use, I'm happy to share with you the discounts that I do have on them and give you any of the other protocols that we use. I walked through a bunch today. We actually have a house record at Jeremy Scott Fitness. It's a 3-minute sled push. See how far you can go in the 3 minutes. Malcolm Boone has the record. I do not have it. He beat me. I don't think I can ever catch him. It is insanely fast, and I think he actually did it with no shoes on, which is even more embarrassing that he buried me with no shoes on. So there's that as well. But that, my friends, is sled training. Use it any way you can in your facility, at your house. Buy one. Get a cheap drag sled. I think they're like $50 or $100, and it's well worth it. Those things typically are going to last you forever. I don't know how long the Rogue sleds, will last us, but they seem the same that they were on day number 1. And we've had them for 6 years, and we use them all the time. So it's a great investment, big bang for your buck, money-wise, time-wise, and just body-wise as well. Minimal risk of injury, huge payoff on the back end, and something you can hopefully do your entire training life. So with that, if you guys have any questions, if you want a free sample of AG1, if you want a discount on the JLab Pro products, MD27 is a discount code. The Rebuilt program is in the app. Again, that program goes hand in hand with sled training. We built in a bunch of rucking stuff into that program too, because anybody can get access to basically a ruck. So that is inside the Rebuilt program. We married in there. We have you guys do it. Ton of mobility, ton of different strength work. That's going on. If you're on Spotify, drop it a 5-star, leave a comment. If you're on Apple Podcast, drop it a 5-star, leave a comment there too. And if you guys really love what we do, go in the show notes, click the Google review, give it a 5-star, and leave us a little comment. We'd appreciate it. It helps our business. And if you guys are looking to work with us in any capacity, whether it's the mastermind group or inside of our app, or you want to come into our facility in Scottsdale, please reach out to us. We got group training. Everything we do is member-based. And if you're in town and we can somehow squeeze you in, we're happy to do that as well. Otherwise, it's all our members. And if you guys want to be a member, whether it's online or in person, please hit me up. I'd love to have you and get you guys in there cooking and, training to your best, to try to be the most healthy, happy, athletic, fit version of you there possibly can be. That is our goal, and that's what we try to do with all the content we put out here on the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys as always. Jeremy Scott Fitness on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. So thank you guys, as always. Have an amazing rest of your week. If you need anything from us, please reach out. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, hopefully with friends and family and people you love. And like I say, man, if you guys are going through hell right now and anything in your life, the advice I always give on here is just keep going. They wouldn't bring you to it if they wouldn't bring you through it. And you just got to put your head down and you got to keep moving and just keep kicking ass. That's all we can do every day is just keep showing up and do our best. And that's the Jerry West quote, I think it was. He's like, if I only showed up and played on the days I felt well, there wouldn't be that many days I played. And so you just got to keep showing up and just keep trying to get buckets each and every day, you guys. I appreciate the support. It means the world to us here. Have an amazing rest of your Wednesday. And until next time, eat well, train hard, be nice to people, and please, you guys, keep doing shit you love with people you enjoy because your life is too short not to. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.